So hello, my name is Nicholas Bell, and it is my extreme pleasure to be able to speak with Tizza Covi, Rainer Frimmel, the directors of Vera, and their star, Vera Gemma, which premiered at the 2022 Venice Film Festival, where it won Best Director and Actress in the Horizon Sidebar, and it is Austria's official submission in the category of Best International Feature at the 96th Academy Awards, so congratulations. I was just speaking a little bit with Vera beforehand. You guys have been traveling with this film since its premiere, so it's been a long year.
Yes, it was a
Yes.
long year. Yes, and Vera, maybe you talk about our experiences that we had.
Yes, we travel all around the world with this movie. And first of all, thanks to call me Star, because I enjoy a lot when they call me Star. We travel a lot with this movie that give us lots of satisfaction. And now we are here, and it's much more of we have our hope in our life. So we are very happy.
I mean, it's the role of a lifetime, and you're playing yourself.
Yes, which seems to be easy, but is not. You know, there is this idea that playing the character of yourself can be easy, but it's not, because you risk to play the idea that you have of yourself, or to wants to be better of what you are, or to wants to show that you are maybe pretty or a good actress. But playing themselves means just be completely naked in your soul, you know, and doesn't be afraid to show what you really are and to feel real feelings. And it's for sure therapeutic, but not easy at all.
Right. I mean, I've never seen a film quite like this, where the lead character is playing a version of themselves, but it's a bit of a hybrid. As you say, even we no longer know what's truth and what's invented. And usually when you see an actor playing themselves, it's usually in a comedy, they're playing a caricature of themselves. So I thought it was really moving to see this kind of poignant drama. I know you all met back in somewhere in 2015. Can you tell me about the genesis of this project coming together?
Yes, exactly. The genesis is that when we met Vera Gemma, we had at once a prejudice against her. So this was very strange. This was very strange. Why should I have prejudice against her? And when we met her, we found out what a brilliant person she was, what a good actress, what an intelligent, very, very funny person she was. So this was the idea, was to look behind this. Why prejudice? Why do we still have prejudice? And then there was this really fascination about her story, to be daughter of a very famous and very, very beautiful man who was an actor of spaghetti western, and to be always confronted by him. This is a theme that is, in Hollywood, I think it happens to a lot of people. A lot of people are the kids of somebody important. So these were the two ideas that made us, gave us this joy to work with Vera.
It's interesting because Ozzy Argento is also in the film, who I know that Vera is friends with. You work for her father. Your father worked for her father. But nepotism, which is, you know, kind of a blessing and a curse, which I think this film conveys very well. I think there's also a difference between if you are the child of, in the film world, a director or an actor. The expectations are also different. There's a different set of standards. And I'd like us to talk a little bit about maybe the beauty standards that you're really hitting on with Vera's story.
Yes, the scene with Asia is one of the only scene in all the movie which is completely improvised. You know, Tizza had this intelligence to put us in front of this tomb of this guy that didn't have the right to have his name, not even death. So that's the only thing that we could said. We felt a real solidarity for this man, you know. And I think that it's a beautiful scene, and it has been a a great idea from Tizza and Rainer to put me and Asia together talking about this. Concerning the fact to be a daughter of an actor, of a director, probably a director have the possibility to shoot with you. My father didn't have it, and I never worked with him, you know, I didn't want to work with him. But concerning me, my father was really too beautiful, you know. He was the example of the Italian beauty. And people always compare my beauty to his beauty. Oh, she's not beautiful enough. The father is so beautiful. She's not beautiful like him. Like if it's my fault, like if I choose how to born, you know. And these have been really dramatic for me. Today, no more. But in the adolescence, for example, this critic, continuous critic by people, bless me, and makes me feel really sad from a side. From another side, I try to develop inside me talent, force, control my rage, and becoming a talentuous human being. And even doing this movie, I try to doesn't judge my beauty, you know. I was much more fat than now because it was immediately after the COVID. And I never saw the movie before Venice. Tizza Rainer told me, you have to see the movie in Venice. So the first impression was, oh my God, I'm not beautiful enough, I'm fat, you know. And then I said, okay, Vera, stop. Enjoy the movie, stop to judge you. You didn't make this movie to show to the world that you are perfect or beautiful or pretty. This was maybe the last opportunity to show your talent. So watch if you did a great job and stop to judge you. So it has been therapeutic, even Venice Film Festival for me. Now I'm a better person. I always have lots of psychological trouble, but it's going better and better.
Well, I mean, you're great in
An
it.
Oscar will help me a lot, obviously, for my self-esteem, you know, but you have to find your self-esteem with or without.
Right, right. And I'd assume that it was a very cathartic experience for you to do this film. Was the script always, I really liked how the car accident is the catalyst for kind of where we go from reality to a sort of fiction, because your father, Giuliano, died in a car accident, and that, of course, is what introduces you to Daniel and his son. But I'm assuming it maybe was on purpose, that it's a metaphor for Vera always being a passenger in her own life. She's not in the driver's seat. If you could speak to that and how much of that was on
Yes, this is a problem that I have with driving. You know, I used to live in Los Angeles even without driving. People tell me, how could you live in Los Angeles without driving? But when you don't drive, all your life is organized as a person that doesn't drive. And then after my father's car accident, it became even worse. I decided to never drive in my life. And in the movie, the reality is that I have a driver, which I used to have for real. And the car accident, I think, is a dynamic that Tizza and Rainer choose to make, because Tizza, I think this can be told by Tizza, that she met in the train someone going to Naples, Tizza, that used to work with the insurance.
Yes, who used to cheat insurance, but still, what is important is that we get inspiration from real life and we make a fiction out of it. And I still believe that's a real fiction, because all fiction movies are inspired by reality. So our movie, which is a fiction movie, is maybe inspired more than other, but still all stories are inspired by reality.
Yeah, and taking it and twisting it just to, maybe exaggerating sometimes. But let's talk about your driver too, Walter, who was in your first film as himself. Well, Babushka is where you met him, I believe. And he's been in several of your features.
Yes, Walter has been in the first movie we made with him was Babushka, and then we decided to make a bigger film with him where he has a bigger role because he was such an impressive person for us and a good friend also. And we made one movie that was screened in Locarno, and he even won the best actor award in Locarno for this movie. And he's somehow a lucky charm for us. In every movie, we have a role for him. Also, in our in our previous film, Mr. Universo, he had a small role, a small part. And he's a great person. He's a person from the circus. He's a very strong character that has experienced so much in life that we are very impressed by his personality.
And the same is for Daniel De Palma, our other main actors. The experience that they have in life and they bring through to the movie is what makes them really, really good actors. They're all, Daniel De Palma, for example, or also the child Sebastian, their first time on the big screen, even the grandmother. So we work with their life experience.
Yes, this is a way of our working. Is the yes, how do we call it, the memory, the emotional memory, that people act out of their emotional memory, and this is so important for our kind of movie making.
Rainer, you had made a statement about Daniel and his son in another interview, talking about their survival of strategy, which I really liked how that was phrased, because when I was the second half of the film, their kind of hustle, it reminded me of kind of modern day bicycle thieves almost, but also, you know, thinking of Italian cinema watching your film. But I really liked that.
Yes, I think Bicycle Thief was a great inspiration for us. It's the Italian neorealism. That is what is a really huge inspiration. But also maybe Fellini, Le Notti di Cabiria, which a movie that talks about a woman that's too good for this this world, and that's also a question we have in this movie. It's what is good and what is bad. It's not like in Western movie who start the father of Vera Gemma, but it's the frontier is really, really different. There is no, you cannot tell what is good and what is bad so easily in our movie.
Right. And both of you kind of wore different hats because it's a very small production. Tizza, you also edited it, and Rainer, you were the director of photography. Let's talk about the filming of it, because I know that you had some long shooting weeks because you had to shoot around the shutdowns.
Exactly.
Yes, we shot the movie between two lockdowns, and we had to shoot it in one big block. So we had no house, no wait for us, no break, and it was very intense. But I think this is for us also very important, because our way of filmmaking is a very personal way. So we are a small team. It's Tizza and me on the set. Sometimes we have an assistant director, but mostly of the time we are just in two, creating an atmosphere that is so personal and so intimate that people feel comfortable, feel natural, and so yes, this is the way of our filmmaking.
Maybe I can add also that what we do is always shooting chronologically, because it's very important that the actresses and actors, they get in the part that we, so the first scene of the movie is the first scene and the last scene of the movie is the last scene. So when in the movie Vera meets the boy and Daniel for the first time at the accident, she will meet them for real for the first time. So and a second thing I want to point out is that we always shoot on 60 millimeters. We have an old Aton, and this is a material that looks right in the soul of human beings for us.
Yes, it's very human. It's also with all its failures, all its problems, all its, because working with film has creates a lot of problems also. The material can be damaged. It can happen so many things. But we love this. We love this because it makes it exciting, like yes, like real life. And this is something we want to transport, yes, from the way of making a movie into the movie on the screen.
It felt very intimate. Also, I think, reminded me a little bit of Barbara Loden's Wanda, even at times.
Great movie.
Yes, yes. But just focusing on this lead character that is so compelling and very vulnerable in lots of moments. Vera, I really liked the scenes with your sister, and where you're watching the home movies and just the conversations you're having about the memories of how right away as young girls had to be transformed in a way because of who your father was. And I was curious, in this process of making this movie, was there anything new or surprising you learned about your father or people's reactions to him as you went on the journey?
If I learn something new, you mean about my father?
Or maybe how his reputation is still, his memory is alive and well.
Yes, his memory is for sure still alive in Italy and in lots of countries in the world, you know, because he used to play the character of the legend, the good, you know, the good that always win against the bad. That's why maybe in a moment of my life, I try to be I was always from the side of the bad one, you know, because all this good in my house was too much. So I wanted to be more bad than him. And I try with all myself to be bad in some way, you know, but at the end of the game, as you can see in the movie, I am very good and I believe in human being always, even after the movie. And I felt my father very close to me during the movie. Unfortunately, he couldn't see the success of the movie. He couldn't see the movie. And but you know, I think that in some way is very, very present with his soul. And I didn't have to learn nothing more about my father because I'm a big fan, you know, and I know everything about him. And I live the time of the great cinema di genere, you know, the spaghetti western, and he make all the kind of different police movies, spaghetti western, horror movie with Dario Argento. And I grow up in this set, you know, so cinema belongs completely to my life, even if I didn't have lots of opportunity as actress. But finally, Tizza and Rainer found me and they gave me this amazing opportunity to show that maybe me too, I could be an actress, because people didn't believe it in Italy. I don't know why. Maybe because of my cowboy hat, my look, you know, but this doesn't mean nothing.
But maybe you can tell who believed in you. There was one director who believed in you and who wanted to give
Yes, there was one director that really believes in me and wants to make some movie with me, which was Sergio Leone. And he was watching me all the time in a moment of my life in which I didn't feel important because they was all there for my father, you know. And he always had a watch for me, a word for me. And he was worried, how are you? How do you feel? And he used to talk a lot with me. And one day he told me, now I'm going to make a movie and you're going to be in the movie, Vera. And he was very serious, you know, and I felt that finally someone could believe in me. And 2 months after, he died. And I cried so much, but not because of the movie, obviously, because of the fact that someone that makes me feel important wasn't there no more.
Wow.
And he was
Wow.
one of the greatest director, I think, of spaghetti western and of movie Once Upon a Time in America, you know. And I felt that I felt very believed and very understood by him.
Yeah, that's an amazing story, and also, you know, a bummer. I heard there was a lot that ended up on the cutting room floor that you wanted to tell about Vera's story, including you knew Pasolini as well.
Yes.
Yes. Not really Pasolini. I met Franco and Sergio Citti, and I was with Franco Citti, the actor of Accattone. He had been my boyfriend for a long time, for 4 years. But he was a great person. But you don't. It's like the movie. I don't know if I was in love with Franco or with Accattone, with the character of the Pasolini movie, you know, because sometimes I fall in love with movie and cinema so much that I confuse this with reality.
Kind of like your film.
Yes,
Exactly.
Where
I'm the
And all-
perfect protagonist
exactly. And all this
of the
story,
movie.
all this story are not in the movie because we didn't want to make her shine again because of her important relationships she had and about her father Sergio Leone, Pasolini, Franco Citti, etc. But we wanted to give her the opportunity to shine from inside and to show what an amazing actress she is.
I mean, I love the setup of it, which goes from the film world to outside of it, obviously. But the audition scene, I think, is quite interesting in a lot of ways and very good. And I'm sure also, to use a word I've used already, cathartic, to be able to, and how your father is nepotism is a blessing and a curse, but having to talk to that director that way, and he only responds to you positively because of who your father was, and
Yes,
yeah,
this happened for real.
Yes, I very
In
much
an audition where they treat me really bad, you know, because of the fact that I was dressed a little bit punk, a little bit aggressive, you know, and they was like disgusted because I always bring my real own personality. Then if you want me to play another character, obviously, if I'm a good actress, I can play everything, you know, but I don't have to be afraid to be myself. So they treat me like in a very bad way. And then I said, oh, my father is an actor, because of the fact that the conversation went there. I didn't even want to say that. And then he told me, oh, your father play a small character. No, my father was the protagonist. He's a Giuliano Gemma. And immediately this director completely changed, you know, completely. Oh, my God, the daughter of Giuliano, I want a picture with you, you know. And I felt so sad that day because I was respecting him more when he was treating me bad, you know, almost.
well, because that's kind of, it feels more real, right? Like, and speaking of, was Vera always the title? Because your name can mean faith and truth. I was reading it. It's perfect. That's a perfect.
Yes, my name means truth, true. And my father always told me, you have to respect your name. You have to be real in the name and in the life. So I try to be real for my life. To doesn't be hypocrite, never. To doesn't show a character, because sometimes people play a character even in real life, you know. To be what I am, taking all the risk.
And Vera Gemma means a true jewel.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. which is an industry that's very hard to have any kind of truth or reality. And so I walked into this film without really knowing anything, and I was just kind of blown away by it. It's such a fascinating and unique take on some, like, you feel like you expect where it's going to go, and you don't know. And and I also really wanted to touch on, Vera, your wanting to model yourself after trans women and having an affinity for how they also live their lives. I thought was also very touching and refreshing to see.
What exactly was very touching or reflection? And
just that you see them and you are able to kind of parallel your own experiences, maybe sometimes with their own search for beauty in themselves.
Yes. I think that this movie is important because he teach, first of all, as we said before, to have the courage to be yourself. And is a movie that teach too to doesn't judge, because the movie, the same movie doesn't judge no one. You know, everybody do what he do for a reason. And at the same time, I'm the example that you don't have never to give up in life, you know. And you always have to fight. If you have the right to have a word in this world, someday someone will hear your voice. So never give up.
Wow. And on that note, I think we've gone. I could talk to you all forever about this film, but thank you very much for taking the time to meet with me. It was just a pleasure to watch and to speak with you. It's funny seeing you on here because I feel like I just finished the film and you're. I'm speaking to.
This is Vera the Revenge, the second part.
Right. Yeah, I want more. But again, look forward to perhaps see you in LA when you're here. But thank you. Congratulations on the awards and the consideration from Austria for the Academy Awards. And I wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your interest.
Thank you.
Hey, this is Eric from IONCINEMA.com. If you want to support us, subscribe below. For more reviews, interviews, film festival coverage from Sundance, Cannes, Toronto, you want to check out these guys on this side.